Welcome to the True Grime Stories podcast, where in every episode, we'll unravel a new mystery of cleaning business transformation from a grimy mess to a great success. Join me, your host, Jeannie Henderson, as together we dig up cleaning business secrets that you've been dying to know. Hello out there, my house cleaning friends. I'm Jeannie Henderson, your host of today's episode of True Grime Stories, and I'm excited for our talk today with Matt Bohner. He is the owner of Magic Matt's Cleaning in Ames, Iowa. I love that. It's a fun name. And Matt has been in business for almost 15 years. And he does lots of other things, but house cleaning is something that he's really been focused on the last few years. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And Matt has an amazing wife, Heather, and 5 kids. So thank you for helping to grow the population. And he's an Air Force veteran of 6 years and had 4 deployments. So thank you for your service, Matt.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Honored to have you here with us today. And Matt's going to share with us a lot about his business. So Matt, let's jump in and start talking about Magic Matt's Cleaning. So what got you started in the cleaning business?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. So of course I was a veteran, moved home. My wife and I started having kids and we were chasing aviation money at the time. So we actually moved all over. We lived in Pennsylvania, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, all over. Just chasing aviation money because I worked on helicopters and jets and painted and did body work to them. And so I chased that money for a while and I thought that was going to be my career. Once we started having kids, I'm from Iowa originally, in central Iowa, Ames. And so wanted to come back home here and settle down where my parents were, and her family's just in North Missouri. So they're close, and just kind of started picking up different jobs here. And I didn't like anything I was doing. And I didn't know that I had the mindset of an entrepreneurial, but I think somebody else might have been able to tell me back then. Everybody used to tell me, you can be a salesman, you should sell something. So I sold cars for a while. Then we had twins and I got scared of the pay, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. We got to have a steady paycheck with 3 kids now. And so just jumped from job to job. And I was never happy with what I was doing. There was things at other, jobs that I just didn't care for. And so I actually woke up one morning and I actually looked at my wife and I said, I'm quitting my job today. And she's like, we had 3 kids, 3 boys. And she's like, what? And I'm like, I'm done. I'm starting a business and I don't know what. And her dad owned a roofing business for a while. So I called him. He was not happy. My parents were not happy, of course.
He wants you to take care of his little girl.
Yeah.
Right?
So nobody was really, he was on my side, but not really happy about the decision at the time. He's the type where you need to keep working until you get something up and running. I'm the type to just make it happen and just go with it. And so I started Googling that morning, what were cheap businesses. We were dead broke. We didn't have money. And so I started Googling what was cheap businesses to start, and cleaning came up. And so we came up with a name over the next few days. And I think that day we started hanging flyers and just started knocking on doors and emailing, calling people and letting them know. And back then we would do anything. We would clean your gutters. We would, clean your yard of leaves. We would do anything cleaning because we didn't know how to put ourselves out there.
Right. Yeah. I was like that too in the beginning, but yeah, that thing that you said, how you kept working for other people, but you just never enjoyed it. That is such a sign of an entrepreneur, someone who cannot work for others. Right. And I have had that same experience. So when you were saying that, I was smiling because I'm like, oh yeah, I have been there. And I remember I didn't care what I did, but I couldn't work for anybody else.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that is such a sign of an entrepreneur. I love it. Well, you are a go-getter, and I've noticed that from the very first time I saw you, Matt. And but as we know, like when you're starting a business, there's just all kinds of things that can go wrong, and nobody tells you. It's kind of like when you have kids. Like nobody teaches you how to raise them, right? Or they just like put it in a little carrier and they send you home from the hospital and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? And kind of starting a business, I found to be very much the same way. So This is True Grime Stories, and we want to dig into some grime in your business because I'm sure you've experienced some of it. So think back on a time, it could be recent or it could have been a while ago, when you really felt stuck. You were trying to figure out how to fix a problem, how to move your business forward. What's a grime scene that you can take us back to when you were really struggling?
I would say there's many, like you said, there's many. I mean, you could pull 100 out, but
Right.
I'll probably pull one out right before I joined CBF. I have a good friend of mine he lost a twin of his, a son, in a car accident.
Oh,
And
heartbreaking.
so, yeah, and that really changed his life and his mentality. And so
Mhm.
he actually owned a construction business, and he was switching over, and he's going to be a coach. I don't know if you've heard of Action Coach. So
Oh,
he decided to use that, and that he wanted to help people, and and he's super intelligent. And so he actually hit me up one day and said, "Hey, here's what I'm thinking about doing. I want you to kind of be our first client. I'm not going to charge you anything, just." And so I started using him as my coach before I found CBF, and he was great. He broke down numbers because he knew numbers from his own business. He was much better at numbers than I was. I had no clue what my numbers were. And I went into that very first interview with him, and he would ask me the tough questions of, what about this way? And I'm like sitting there going, I have no clue what you're even talking about. He goes, you don't know this. You're not tracking this. You're not tracking that. You don't even have something where you're tracking your clients. And I'm like, I know nothing of this. And he's like, okay, we got a lot of work to do. So he kind of got me into that coaching mentality, and
mm-hmm.
I learned a lot from him. And so that made me think about, what else is out there? And I started and I found Debbie. That's when I found Debbie. And it was weird because I was using him kind of as my coach. And then when I found Debbie and joined CBF, then I had kind of double. And that was my biggest struggle because, CBF has a structure. He's not in the cleaning world, but he's a great coach. But he's over here and kind of wants me to do some of these things that were, maybe not so counterintuitive as what Debbie's are. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was probably my best moment was finding him in CBF, but my worst moment was trying to figure out how to intermingle these two, right? And so I had to talk to him. I talked to coaches in CBF, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm doing double the work, and I feel like I'm getting nowhere. And I was just kind of spinning my head, like CBF is telling me to do this, and he's telling me to do that, and I think it should be this way. And it was just so intermingled that I ended up having to back off from him. I did want to try out CBF and get going with that, and it's really paid off a ton. I mean, we doubled our business the first year in CBF,
Crazy.
and I want to give him his props too because he helped me get there as well. But
Sure.
CBF really showed me the direct pathway to where we are now, and we're still learning, of course, every day.
That is a really good example, though, of one of the pitfalls of entrepreneurship is who to follow,
Yeah,
right?
it's tough.
And there are so many different voices out there
Mm-hmm.
pointing you, in a different direction. Go here, do this,
Mm-hmm.
do that. This is the most important thing for you to do. No, this is the most important thing for
Right.
you to do. And it's so easy to get caught up in that. And I love what you said, that it's not like one was wrong or right
Mm-hmm.
or good or bad, but to try to follow both is really difficult. There's an ancient Chinese proverb, something like, he who chases two rabbits catches none. That's
Right.
what that reminds me of, is
Mm-hmm.
the two rabbits theory. That, oh my gosh, like, I'm sure that your coach friend was
Yep.
amazing, and we
Right.
know our coach Debbie Sardone is amazing.
Yes.
We can't really implement two programs at once inside of our business.
Yep.
And it's not just confusing for you, but it's confusing for everyone on your team. It's confusing for your clients.
It
Um,
was. It got really distracting. I had an admin in here at the time, and it was, I always tell anybody I hire anyways, we need to be, we need to be able to twist and turn, right? We might go this way, and hey, that's not working. We might have to go over here. And when we joined CBF and started that, and then I was, doing his stuff too. And I mean, I was literally spending hours on doing CBF stuff, and then I'd come over here, and it was like kind of the same thing, but different. And I'm like, okay, now I got to refigure all this. So my mind was in two different places, and then And I was trying to figure out whether either one was better than the way I was doing it, which obviously they both were. But yeah, I just, being industry specific was huge for me. And just the path that it provided was, and I still talk to, we still have phone calls with my other coach, we're friends, and we do a monthly. I kind of use him more almost as a life coach. He's a very intelligent guy, and CBF can kind of be
And
used as
that's
life coach
different.
in a way,
Yeah.
but yeah, it is a little different. So I have issues in, if we have something at home going on, or, maybe with a certain employee, like he's really good at that kind of stuff. And so we still talk. We just do once a month, an hour phone call, and, chit chat and figure out what's going on. But yeah, I agree with you. You can't chase two. It's tough. And and it will just make you spin your wheels and you're getting nowhere.
Right. And Debbie and I have talked about this before in some of the other groups that I'm part of inside of CBF. And there are many different operating systems out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I have studied several of them. And they all have similar principles, but a lot of times they don't. You can't like mesh them together. And they often can become a distraction to your business, and they can really slow down your growth. I have experienced that myself.
Yep.
I put my team into a big like training program, year-long training program, and we hardly our team hardly grew for 6 months.
Right.
We were stuck, and I was so frustrated because not only was I spending a bunch of money on this and time, I wasn't getting any results. It was actually, it put us in a stall.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
think about flying, we were going like this and we stalled. And if you're stalled in the air, there's only one place you're going.
Right.
And that's what it felt like. I was just,
Yeah, and
really
that's scary.
frustrated.
And like our team, like you said too, it was confusing for my admin. It was confusing for our cleaners. One day I was like, hey, we need to do it like this. And then then I go watch more modules, or I get on the phone with my other coach and it's like, hey, nope, we're going to transfer to this. And it did. And I think you can see the frustration in them. Luckily we didn't lose anybody through that. I just kept telling them, hang on with me. Trust me, this is going to come together. And eventually it did. And it's a lot better now. So, and I think they can all see it.
Yeah. Well, and I see that a lot over the years in the business that I'm in and my previous business life, that people get, if they start to run into issues or they just kind of get bored,
Yep.
they start looking over there. You and I were talking about shiny things before we started recording today, right? And sometimes that other coaching program is a shiny thing. And I'm going to be completely vulnerable, 100% honest. I have signed up for other coaching programs that were a distraction and also that didn't do anything for my business. And it like makes my heart hurt how much money and time I wasted on those things.
Right.
But I think it's important. I'm so glad you brought this up today, because it's good to like warn people that this is coming if you haven't run into it yet. So if you have your first coach, you're probably still in the afterglow of, oh, I have a coach and I'm so happy. But then all of a sudden you'll start meeting other coaches and other education programs. And that's like, oh, but those people over there are doing that. Maybe I should do that. Or these people over there are doing that. Maybe I should do that. And it's not that they're not having success with you.
Sure.
They are having success, but that doesn't necessarily mean you need both.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think too, like with CBF for one, and I know again, there's much of these, I listen to a lot of these different videos, and I love motivational stuff and I love reading, self-help books and that kind of thing. And there's so much you can take, you can only retain so much, but you hear one's like, oh man, I should go do that, or I really got to do that. But, you got to know the background. I think that's what's so great about CBF is you really, the whole background of people. Like people are very vulnerable, like, what you just said, be vulnerable, and people open up to you in CBF. And I think that brings a whole lot of, oh, Debbie is really a real person, right? She's not just this glamour gal on the, on the screen on your iPad or phone that's just talking to you to try to spend money or whatever. Like she's a real person. Like she really built this, and this is how she built it. And I think that really helps. And I brought my wife to Live last year, and I brought her for that reason. She had not been, she was not down for me joining CBF in the beginning when I, told her about it. And luckily I was there by myself and I just did it because I listened to Debbie and she said, if you talk to your significant other, they're going to tell you to wait.
They're going to tell you no. Yeah.
So I waited till after I got my little lay, and then I was like, honey, I did something. And she's like, what did you do? I'm like, we're all in now. So, but now she appreciates that. And then I took her to live so that she could meet people, so that she could, this isn't just, I'm just going to say scam for, there are some scams out there, but so that people know that they're real people that are trying to help you, and they've been there before, and they've been in your shoes, and it's awesome.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I love about this program. And I know there are many industry specific programs out there. And I really do encourage people to always look at that first. Because if there are problems in your business, an industry specific coaching program or education program or operating system is going to help you more than a lot of the general stuff that's out there. I do have another coach who's my leadership coach. And I have a big workshop next week with them. That's different.
Right.
It's not in my operating system. It's about me. It's about making me a stronger leader. And so it's not that you can't learn other things, but when we're talking about our business and our business is stuck and we want to fix our business, I really do feel like an industry specific educator or program is going to be a lot more helpful.
Yeah. And I agree. I mean, again, he did me well, he'll watch this again once someday. So not hating on him. I love him to death, but I do agree. And it has helped me a lot. And he could have probably taken me places too, but there was little things that, like for instance, our CRM, right? Half the people in CBF have my CRM. So if I've got, an issue or a problem, or, hey, how am I not utilizing this? Yes, I could go to the CRM and sit on hold and try to put in all these requests. Or I could go to CBF and go, hey, here's what operating system I use. And so what can I do better, or how can I, and half of them have that system. So they already know, they've tried it, they've used it, and I think little things like that, like the CRM is huge for us. We just finally got automations on Service Autopilot, and it's moving mountains just getting automations. It's amazing.
Yeah. There's so many good ones out there, but it is great to be in a place where you can share with people and everyone's there to help each other. And that's what you and I have found in this community of cleaning business fundamentals. But there are other great communities out there too that are industry specific. And it just makes all the difference. I'm part of ISSA, the Worldwide Cleaning Association. So that's commercial cleaning. That's janitorial, manufacturers and all of that. And it's beneficial to hang around with those other groups and learn from them. But when it boils down to what am I going to implement in my business, I really do like to talk to experts in our specific residential cleaning industry because it makes all the difference.
Yeah. I agree. And then really the bonds that you build too, like with the different people, going to live and going to retreat, and those are people that, I talk to weekly, right? Like we even have, we go back through the modules, and I have a little group that we go back together and, hey, what have we not implemented? Let's do it. We're going to hold each other accountable. We got 2 weeks to start that project and get it going. And so the bonds that you built inside of that our coaching too is that's almost the most beneficial thing. Maybe not the most.
Right.
It is
pretty precious though.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. It's very, very, very valuable to helping us grow. Well, I love this story that you shared, Matt, because I think everyone is going to run into it at one time or another if you are a business owner, because we're getting bombarded. I'm getting chased by different education and coaching programs constantly. My phone's ringing, and so how do you pick? How do you choose? And what's most beneficial? So thank you for sharing that. So I'd like to take a little break right now and introduce everybody to CBF, this wonderful thing that we've been talking about. But then I want to come back and kind of talk about, so what kind of results did you see when you really shifted your focus? So we'll come back for that. So here's a message from Cleaning Business Fundamentals, and we'll be right back. Is your cleaning business a grime story? There's no need to stay stuck in the muck because you're not alone. With over 500 active members and more than 500 graduates of our Cleaning Business Fundamentals program, CBF is the #1 cleaning business academy in the world and has created more mop-free millionaires than any program in the industry. Learn more and let CBF take your residential cleaning business from a grime story to a gleaming success. Well, welcome back, everyone. I'm so glad you're still here with us on True Grime Stories. I'm here with Matt Bohner, who is the owner of Magic Matt's Cleaning in Ames, Iowa. So Matt was sharing how it wasn't working to chase two rabbits. So,
Exactly. Yep.
so Matt, when you were kind of in that and realizing that, I can't do both of these programs, what were some of the things that really jumped out at you that made it clear to you the direction that you should head with your education as an entrepreneur?
I think it was probably the numbers thing. Gabriel, my other coach, he's really big into numbers, right? And so that was my first wake up call before I found CBF. Was I don't know any of my numbers and I need to know them. And so he helped me start that process, right? Different spreadsheets and different things. And then when I joined CBF, knowing that there was specific numbers that you could run your business off of, and you don't, yes, some of those other numbers are very important for businesses and some other businesses, maybe not in the cleaning world, but having those standards of here's the average and here's where we need to be, like her percentages of where you need to be and different things. That
Right.
was really
The conversion, the sales conversion
yes,
percentages, the cost of client
right.
acquisition.
That's where I was really struggling with. There was, what he was coaching and what Debbie coaches was totally different. And, he's coaching to multiple businesses, right? Different career fields. And Debbie's coaching strictly to residential cleaning. And I knew when I joined CBF that we wanted to grow our residential side. So I wasn't looking necessarily just to grow the whole business, which that has happened because I implement everything together. But I
A lot
really
of it
wanted
does translate over into
does.
other businesses
It
for
does.
sure.
And like she said, it's so much of it's counterintuitive. You wouldn't think of it. You think, gosh, I wouldn't think that would work. And it does. And it's just, so I would say the numbers. That was my biggest thing to where I said, okay, it's time to split off because I can't continue to try to do all these numbers separate. And I'm trying to hit Debbie's numbers. And so it's been a game changer. And again, not to take anything away from his will grow a business. It's been proven. He's grown many, but for me, that residential again, and the people, I just can't go away from the people. It's
Yeah,
CBF.
the community that we have inside of Cleaning Business Fundamentals is so great. But talking about the numbers, I do remember that too, being introduced to the specific numbers or KPIs or key performance indicators that we should be following in the residential cleaning business, and just being, mind blown at like, oh, yeah, if I just follow these 10 numbers, and I know what they are and I can watch the trends, it's almost like levers on a control panel.
Yeah.
If this number's off, now I know what to work on, and it's just been so helpful when you start to grow your team and other people are taking over those roles. Now I have a scorecard that I can pull up right now that has those numbers on it, that my team is updating all the time. So without even talking to them, I can take the temperature of how my business is doing this week.
Sure.
And so it also gives you this amazing leadership tool that you are able to use. So now that you know which numbers to watch and you've got the right coach leading you in that direction, what are some of the results that you experienced early on and even today?
Yep. So we doubled our business that first year, as I said earlier. So, and we didn't join CBF until April of 2024. So it's just now been a year and a half in, and we doubled that first, was it for 8 months on our books. So, and that's overall, we don't just do
What do you think
residential
was
cleaning,
like the
but
big driver to that?
I think the biggest thing was learning my numbers, seeing what, between my numbers and probably how I do my sales, and I still do them kind of like the way I used to, because I'm still small enough to where I do still go out to a lot of homes, but I'm doing a lot more over the phone. I'm saving time by doing them over the phone. But I would say numbers, again, number one, and the support group, because if I didn't know something, I could easily go into our Facebook group and, hey, I'm struggling with this. And you'd have 15 responses, of solid answers. Or somebody would just say, hey, module, whatever, go back and look at that, or listen to that. It'll help you. So, the people, the numbers, I don't know that I could say that there's one specific thing. It's a whole, when you get that first pack and you open it up, like it's weird as a 46-year-old man to open up a box and be so happy that you've got all this info in front of you, and like you just want to start it and finish it all in a day. Like you just want to
Yeah.
burn through it and learn everything you can because there's so much there, and you just know that it's A to Z. If you just follow from A to Z and listen and don't try to sidetrack off the way, that your business is going to grow if you put in the effort. I
Yeah.
mean, it takes effort, it takes time. But, again, reading books and putting, some people look at the money for a coach of just the coaching, but they need to look at it as investing in yourself. And if you don't
Oh,
invest in
yeah.
yourself, you are not going to grow. You've got to have a team around you with confidence. That way you can give your team the confidence of where you're going, where you're headed. And it has helped like our team mentality. It's helped, our interviewing process of how we talk to them about, look, we are looking for long-term people here. That's why we brought benefits on and PTO time. And we want this to be a career for people. So it has helped full circle.
Well, there's so much there, but
Mm-hmm.
it really is finding the right coach for you. And I
Mm-hmm.
always say to people, talk to a few people if you need
Right.
to. Look around, look at what's out there. Um, you do get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
So just like grandma and mom said, it's true.
Yep.
And anything that's free is probably not going to give you a whole lot of helpful content.
Mm-hmm.
It can maybe interest you, but it's not going to take you as far as you need to go. And I think understanding the path and the numbers really guide you in that. The math is the path philosophy that we teach
Yeah.
inside of CBF has been a game changer for me as well. But wow, congratulations on that
Thank you.
success. That is amazing. Just to think about doubling your business is so great. But so what does the future hold for Magic Mats Cleaning?
Well, hopefully a lot. So we're just continuing to grow. We've got a team. We've got 9 of us right now on the residential side, and we just want to
Wow.
continue to grow. I mean, again, CBF, there's always something to learn. And again, I've been in almost 2 years, and I'm still going back through modules 1 through 10 every once in a while, just making sure that I'm not missing something or catching something. And some of it gets a little repetitive when you've listened to it 7, 8 times, but I always find something in there that I missed or just didn't do. But
Well,
I
it's
would like
definitely
to,
not a one and done program. It's like
no,
because you're
no,
not ready for all of it.
right.
There's
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of concepts
Yep.
in the 10 modules that you
Yep. And I
receive.
think that
And
that too, like that can draw you, in a flashy, flash thing over here too, because you can't, you got to try not to get ahead of yourself, right? Like you said, there's so much in there. You really need to follow, the structure of what it is, because we did that. We implemented, some of it we had implemented sort of. And so we kind of skipped over those and then went to implement something else. And then when I went back, I'm like, man, we really need to tidy this up, right? We should have done this in the beginning. It's really about that stable foundation. And I think right now we've got a stable foundation. We've got obviously good people around us. I've got a secondary coach for life. And if my mind gets down, because business, we just talked about this morning, is a lonely place sometimes.
Mhm.
You feel alone. And, I take every customer complaint to heart. We're still small enough that I take them all to heart. And, CBF has taught me, though, that you can't do that. You're going to lose some. It's not anything you did wrong. You're just going to lose some naturally. And so that mindset alone has helped me be a more positive leader and not so down when we lose one. And then that cleaner gets down because they think it was them. And so, just trying to stay more positive. And again, the people around us that we have is basically like family. I mean, CBF it's another family entirely for sure.
Yeah, it's an amazing program. My
Mhm.
background is the restaurant industry and I was
Mm.
in franchise restaurants
Yep.
and one of the things that I loved about it was the community because
Yeah.
now I'm part of this community. There's 1,200 of these restaurants across the country
Mm.
and we all know each other and we're all
Right.
sharing and we're friends. But the problem with that particular model is that the franchisor also has an element of control over you at all times
Right.
where you get to build this amazing Magic Mats brand. It's all you, but yet now you have this operating system inside of that that you can share with, hundreds of
Right.
cleaning business owners but still have your amazing brand and
Right.
create your own business and be independent. And it doesn't cost nearly as much as a franchise does. Uh,
No.
but you get that amazing community. And I think
Mhm.
that is so important because entrepreneurs can be very siloed, very lonely.
Yep.
And everyone around you thinks you're crazy because,
Right.
like, why would you do that? Why would you just
Hmm.
quit your job? Um,
And honestly, I never, when I joined CBF, or even to talk to my first coach, I never would have thought that a cleaning company could be that big. I knew, like, we have another competitor in our town, and I don't even really, to me, they're not competitors. I mean, we have another cleaning company in our town, and they're larger than us, and I just, I didn't really see like getting that big, right? It's like, yeah, they did something great. They've been here for years, they've been known, and so I never thought that we could be, what we could grow into until I got into CBF. And then it's like, holy cow, like there are a lot of people doing a lot of big things, cleaning houses. And I never, as a business owner, I never thought that it could be there. We actually, half of our revenue, probably the first 10 years, was cleaning college apartments
oh yeah.
during college term, because we're where Iowa State University is.
Do you
And that
still
was
do that?
absolutely not.
I was gonna say.
The very first year in CBF,
Oh yeah,
when I
that's
joined
some
in
bad
April,
stuff.
yeah, when we
Uh-huh.
joined in April, and that normally is at the end of July, we were already to the point where I said, no more of that. We're going to be better than that. So that little few months, and when Debbie talks about, the cost and the price and all this and that,
Mhm.
and we easily doubled, tripled, 10 times our money of that, of the investment that we made in ourselves and our company, easily, probably 100 times right now, easily. So it's
That's
like
so
when
great.
people, there's other Facebook groups that you see, and they're, well, I don't know how to do this, and it's like, find CBF. Trust me, it's worth it. You need to go. Like, that's the only answer I can have for them, is you've got to just invest in yourself. If you believe in yourself and your business, then you can make it.
Yeah, yeah, and we help, and that's what we help people do every
Yes.
day. And
Hmm.
I'm so excited that you found that solution for your business.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's not easy, but when you follow the path, it's amazing the results
Hmm.
you can have, like what you are experiencing in your
Right.
business. And I can only imagine what it's going to be like in the future, but I see great things ahead for you. You have such
Thank you.
great energy, Matt.
I appreciate
You
that.
could be a motivational speaker. Just
That's kind of my goal one day.
you got some energy there.
I would like to have a COO in place someday. I don't know that I ever want to look for an exit plan. Not right now. I'd like to always kind of
Mhm.
keep it, but I do. I've always said that I would love to talk to high school age kids or junior high age kids. That would be my goal one day, of something that I do outside of this.
Oh man, I just got goosebumps thinking about it. Like
I would love it.
you could, I mean, you are changing lives now, but even more so, I
Right.
think in your future, there's so much ahead for you. Well, thank you so much for coming on
Yeah.
and sharing your story. And what a great thing to talk about is because there's so many ways to get distracted and pulled off course.
Yep.
And to really find the right course for your business is so important. And I'm glad you found it. So
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I did want to mention one more thing, Jeannie.
Yeah.
We, we're involved with cleaning for a reason,
Yes.
and we love that. And I didn't realize until probably, so we've been with cleaning for a reason about a year and a half, close to the same time as CBF. And I knew that it was big. I knew that it was, important and impactful. But just recently, over the last probably month or two, I didn't realize the difference that it makes, in the local community. We've done probably only about 8 to 10 patients so far. It's been a little bit slow, but I've been putting it out there more, like on phone calls and different things, and even our marketing a little bit. And the cancer stories that I've heard over the last even week, we just did a big golf tournament that was doing a cancer thing for somebody who had cancer. They beat it and they're still raising money. And so I said, oh, we'd be perfect. Let's sponsor a hole. We're in with cleaning for a reason. And so it was this nice big thing. But how many of those people like give back, all like just the giving back part, and the whole experience around cleaning for a reason? I have a whole new mentality for it now. It's just, the last couple of months have been eye-opening for me about that. So if people don't know about that, they really need to know about that.
I'm so glad that you brought that up. We're recording this in October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so many of us who are Cleaning for a Reason partners are trying to spread awareness. So, cleaning business owners out there, if you are not part of Cleaning for a Reason, like Matt said, we can't encourage you more to make that part of your giving back in your community. And it is a small commitment. When you sign up, you only have to commit to 2 cleanings a month for cancer patients, but the impact that you make is great. And you can clean for as many patients as you want, but that's just the minimum commitment. And there are 1,400 of us, but there are, just in my state alone, 50,000 new cancer patients a year. And the need is great. So cleaning business owners, if you're out there, I'm going to challenge you. You want to challenge them, Matt?
Yes. And I believe that Iowa, as far as I know where I am, I believe that now we just reached number 1 for cancer patients, of new cancer patients. I believe somebody told me that the other day, that Iowa has become, yes.
That's
And
not a
so,
good thing.
no, it's not. And
Oh my goodness.
it's such a good thing. And you would be surprised and this is, I'm not saying do it because of this, but you would be surprised of how many people will use you because they know what you're giving back to and how you're giving back. And we have gained clients just on that aspect, that, wow, the way that you're giving back to cancer patients is very important to us. And so we're going to use you for that reason only. And it's really impactful for your business. It's impactful for people who are dealing with it and struggling with it. It's just amazing.
That's so true. Well, and I have found that people come to work for us and keep working with our team
Yep.
because of cleaning for a reason. So it has some great impacts in your business and in your life when
Absolutely.
you start to give back in that way. So if you want to know more about cleaning for a reason, check out the link. It's going to be in our show notes, and go there and click on the business owners page, and you can sign up today and become a Cleaning for a Reason partner and start cleaning for cancer patients in your area. It's been a beautiful thing. So I'm glad you brought that up, Matt.
Yes.
So before we go today, you did give people advice about, choose your coach well, but what's one thing that you have learned in business, maybe a mindset shift or a mantra or a phrase or a verse that you think about a lot? What's one of those driving phrases or verses that you think about?
Oh my gosh, I read so many books. I try to read so many books. One is read. That's my first experience. Read more. I hate to read, but I love to read those books because they motivate me and they keep me going.
Well, that's a good one right there.
Yeah. But I would say mind shift in general, just your mindset of, being more positive every day. We all run into rough things, right? We all have patches where, kids are acting up. Maybe you had, an argument with your wife or husband, somebody passed away in your family, somebody got cancer in your family. We're all going to deal with that stuff, but you got to stay as positive as you can as a business owner, because if you don't, your people are going to catch on to that, and you're going to bring them down too, and you're going to start losing people. So even when you're upset, you still got to put a smile on your face and love life. And we all should anyways, right? We all should be loving
Every
life
day.
the best every day we can, do as much traveling as you want. But yeah, I love it. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. That is such great advice. Positivity is contagious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is.
So yeah,
You are who
definitely.
you hang around. That's my one statement. You are who you hang around.
Yeah. And that makes all the difference. Well, I'm glad to be hanging out with you today, Matt.
Yeah,
This has
you
been a
too.
real joy. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for being our guest today on True Grime Stories.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And to all of our guests today, all of our audience, I want to thank you for being here and making True Grime Stories a growing podcast in the residential cleaning industry. And you can help us grow by sharing this episode with your friends, and be sure and drop us a review. We'd love to hear from you, and that just helps more people find us. So check out the show notes. If you'd like to know more about cleaning for a reason or cleaning business fundamentals, feel free to sign up for a free call with me. I'd love to talk with you and learn about your business. And until next time, thanks for being here on this episode of True Grime Stories. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
That's a wrap on today's True Grime Stories. Thanks for joining us in uncovering the secrets of cleaning business success. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and download, and check out our show notes for links and info from today's episode, and to learn more about our sponsor, Cleaning Business Fundamentals. Join us next time as we solve another True Grime story.